Hello and welcome to Project Management Professional Training. I am going to do a demonstration about our training program, the structure for training, and the benefits that you will get from our training program. With that said, the agenda for this demo is I'll introduce myself, and then I will define what a project is and compare it with process. After which we will talk about the roles of a project manager, and we will look at the PMP layout. And I'll also do a demonstration of our teaching pertaining to a particular process within integration management. And then we will look at the specialty and why we are different from other training providers. My name is Naveen. I possess a master's in computer science and a master's in business administration from Texas State University. I am a PMP-certified candidate, portfolio management professional. I'm also a PMP-certified candidate. I'm also a PMI-PBA-certified candidate. I possess a Certified Scrum Master certification. I have about 15 years of experience in different capacities across different domains in the United States. Started my career as a business analyst, worked my way up to become a lead business analyst, then managed some projects as a project manager and managed some complex programs. And I currently work as a portfolio manager for a Fortune 100 companies in California. I also had to wear multiple hats while I was functioning as a business analyst or a project manager, sometimes as a product manager, as a UAT lead, QA, or sometimes also had to chip in as a process for engineering specialist. And also, I've been coaching people in the spaces of project management and business analysis, and I've trained over 1,000 students to date. As I said earlier, my experiences span across different industries. Some of the domains that I've been part of are finance. Within finance, I had opportunity to work in banking, credit cards, mortgage. I had experiences in life insurance and general insurance sectors. I also have experience in healthcare, pharma, travel, and telecom, and some of the pure IT organizations as well. I'm also a member of various professional bodies such as Project Management Institute, Agile Alliance, Scrum Alliance, American Marketing Association, American Society for Quality, and Toastmasters. The reason why I'm introducing about myself the way I am by talking about my experiences and associations is I want you to understand that the knowledge that I'll be bringing to this platform is not necessarily static. In other words, it's not just from a textbook. This is the knowledge that I've obtained in real time by my associations with various organizations to help me understand the needs of the market and to understand the nature of the employment with regards to the project management in 2017 and beyond. Also, my experiences in different capacities across different domains will enable me to bring in real-time insights into the training program. So let's go ahead and talk about a project. How do you define a project? According to PMP, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or a result. So there are some key characteristics of a project. It has to be temporary in nature. In other words, it has to have a definite start time and a definite finish time. And there could be an activity or a set of activities being done by an individual or a group of individuals. And there has to be an outcome. The outcome has to be unique in nature. The outcome has to be unique in nature. The outcome can be a product or a service or a result. Product-based projects, when you're building an airplane, for example, when Boeing built their Dreamliner, that is a project because it was the first time that they built Dreamliner. It had a definite start time, a finish time, and there were a set of activities. This plane was the outcome. You can also have a service-based project, which is you're enabling a service, which could be automation, which could be a process improvement, which could be establishing a supply chain line, or a result-oriented project, which could be surveys, census, clinical trials, where you'll come up with a result. So a project can create a product that can either be a component of another item or an enhancement of an item, or an item in itself. Or it can be a service or a capability that can help to perform a service or a function. An example is Six Sigma project that is undertaken to reduce defects, or a research project that develops some knowledge that can be used to determine whether a trend exists or a new process will benefit society. So now that we know what a project is, let's go ahead and talk about what a process is. The difference between a project and a process is in the fact that a process is an ongoing effort. It does not have a predetermined finish time. It is a repetitive activity. You would follow the same steps that you did as part of your project, but you're repeating those steps without a predetermined finish date. So therefore, a process is a work effort that is generally repetitive in nature because it follows an organization's existing process or procedures. In the previous example, Boeing Dreamliner series, Dreamliner was a project because the first time when they produced Dreamliner, it was unique in nature. But now if you go to Boeing's assembly plant in Everett, Washington, which is north of Seattle, you see this happening day in and day out. First year, as you see, there is a fuselage. Then they are attaching the tail portion. Then they are attaching the wings. And then probably some electronics and interiors are all done. And here, as you see, finally the engines are attached. So currently, they produce these Boeing Dreamliner airplanes on a frequent basis, as long as they have a need for these airplanes. This is exactly what happens on an assembly line, on a manufacturing floor. The production processes repeat, and it takes an iterative approach. So to summarize, a project is temporary in nature, but our operations are ongoing. Project is unique, operations are repetitive. A project will attain its objective and terminate, but operations will sustain the business and adapt. So why do we need a project? A project is required for various reasons. Market demands. If your market requires you to come up with a new product or a new service or a new result, an organization can start up a new project. Or organizational need. Sometimes you start projects because organizations are transforming, or any technological advancements. Majority of the organizations, especially in 2000, when they had new technologies coming in, they were replacing the legacy technology. You see the trend once every few years. Or customer requests. If you have to provide a better service or a better product. Sometimes it could be legal or compliance requirements. If there's a new regulation or a new law enacted, or if you want to stay competitive, or if you just want to create a new product. So it could be any of these reasons why we would need a project and why organizations will kick off a project. So what is project management? It is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. Now, project management is accomplished through the appropriate application of 47 logically grouped processes as identified by Kimball, which we will look at in a few minutes. So a project manager is an individual that has to perform that. Who is a project manager? Project manager essentially is an individual that is assigned by a performing organization and is distinct from a functional manager. Sometimes they may report to a functional manager or a program management office or a project management office or to a portfolio manager. These project managers manage the project to achieve the project objectives by balancing various parameters and constraints. As you note here, a project manager is an individual that has to act as the central unifying force so that the project management engine is well oiled, ensuring that all the activities are balanced. So the success of a project relies on the skill and the capabilities of a project manager. So what are some of the attributes that a project manager has to possess? From a knowledge standpoint, they should understand the various aspects of project management. They should be able to understand the different processes in a project management. They should be able to perform. Performance is what the project manager is able to do. They should also possess some personal skills, which is how the project manager behaves in performing the project or related activity. Some of the characteristics are they should have good personality, good attitude, leadership skills. They should be able to guide the team members. They should be an integrator. They should be a coach, mentor, a visionary. They should be able to inspire. They should be able to manage conflicts. They should be able to lead by example. So these are some of the attributes that a project manager should possess in order to successfully manage a project. Let's move forward and understand how project management body of knowledge, which is a set of best practices put together by PMI, is laid out. It is essentially structured by process groups or domains and knowledge areas. Current edition is 5th edition, which was published in 2013. There are 5 different domains: initiating, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing. A lot of people without project management experience assume that these are all serial activities. No, as you note here, planning, monitoring and controlling, execution are iterative processes. You would initiate a project. You would plan a project, which is essentially how do you manage the project? How do you manage various activities pertaining to the project? All of the planning will happen in planning process. And then you will execute. The actual project work will be done in execution, where different people will work together to complete the work that has been determined at the time of initiating. And then you would monitor and control the project, checking the progress of the project and correcting any problems. And then once you correct the problems, you have to re-execute. Sometimes you have to re-plan and then re-execute again, and then again monitor and control. And finally, you would close the project, which is formally closing each phase or the project itself by receiving formal approvals for the work that has been done. And then the 10 knowledge areas are integration management, scope management, time management, cost management, quality management, HR management, communication management, risk management, procurement management, stakeholder management. Integration management essentially is tying all the activities of the project together. And this has to be performed throughout the project. Scope. There are 2 types of scope: project scope and product scope. This knowledge area ensures the project includes all of the requirements and no new requirements are added in a way that could harm the project. Time management. This will involve various processes that will ensure that the project is completed on schedule. Cost management involves all the processes that will ensure the project is completed as per the budget. Quality management. This knowledge area will contain processes and activities that will help the organization determine quality policies, objectives, and responsibilities so that the project will satisfy the needs for which it is being undertaken. HR management. For any project, people are the key. Your project resources, labor, workforce, they are key. This knowledge area talks about the processes that are used to develop, manage these project team members. Communication management. A lot of surveys concluded that majority of the time project managers communicate. Communication is key to being successful as a project manager. So what are the various policies pertaining to communication? What information is needed to be communicated? How will that be communicated? How will you report the performance of the project? All of that will be covered in the processes pertaining to communication management. Risk management. It involves processes that will help the project manager and the team to identify, manage, and control the risks of a project. It could be project technical risks, managerial risks, business risks. Procurement management. You will have to procure a variety of services and materials from both internal and external parties of the project. So this talks about the various processes associated with that. Finally, stakeholder management. This is the newest addition in the 5th edition, which talks about the processes required to identify the right people, groups, or organizations who could impact or be impacted by the execution of this project. And successful stakeholder management and engagement is one of the secrets for achieving the project objectives. So to further elaborate, PMBOK has identified 47 different project management processes which fall into one of these process groups and knowledge areas. So each of these processes will have a set of inputs, tools and techniques, outputs, and we will cover each of those processes, and talk about the inputs, tools and techniques and outputs. And also we will look at various templates and other materials that corresponds to any of these processes. Let us go ahead and see how it is with regards to integration management. So what is integration management? Integration is an act of combining or bundling or tying or fusing or blending. You have to bring the various pieces of the puzzle together. And integration occurs throughout the project, not just in one part of the project. This process group, or this knowledge area, includes the processes and activities needed to identify, define, combine, unify, and coordinate the various processes and project management activities that occur throughout the other knowledge areas as well. It includes characteristics of unification, consolidation, articulation, and integrative actions that are crucial to project completion so that you can meet the requirements of the project, manage your stakeholders' expectations. In fact, the key to overall project success is good integration management. A lot of project managers do not understand this, and they may not necessarily have the big picture context all the times. They will focus on the details. As you see here, instead of looking at the big picture, different individuals are looking at different pieces at a very detailed level. So there are 6 processes within integration management: develop project charter, develop project management plan, direct and manage project execution, monitor and control the project work, perform integrated change control, close project or phase. Let me talk about develop project charter process. The inputs are project statement of work, business case, contract, enterprise environmental factors, organization process assets. Tools and techniques are expert judgment, and outputs is project charter itself. So what do you mean by, this is a view straight from PMBOK, which will give you a graphical representation of the inputs and the outputs associated with that particular process. Anytime you see boxes within the gray area, that means it is part of that knowledge area, which is project integration management. So what is the statement of work? It is a narrative that describes the products or services that are to be delivered by the project team. It references a business need. It has a high-level scope described along with the strategic objectives or plan. Once you have that, you also will have to have business case. Business case is a justification document that tells you why you will have to perform this project. Why can't you just stay as is? Or what are your other alternatives? What is the cost-benefit analysis information? Why did you choose to do this project? What is the NPV, ROI, whatever the financial metric that is being used in that organization? Generally, you will take a business case and present it to the governance team or the upper management to get their buy-in or approval to start the project. The other inputs are contract. Contract is an input where when the project is being done for an external customer. It's an agreement. The other two inputs are enterprise environmental factors and organization process assets. There are two types of enterprise environmental factors, internal and external. These are the factors that can influence your project. Some of the examples are governmental or industry standards, organization infrastructure, marketplace conditions. OPAs refer to the policies, the procedures, the knowledge that is internal to the organization, previous project documents, templates, any lessons learned. You will notice that enterprise environmental factors and organization process assets are inputs to majority of the processes in planning phase. So what are the tools and techniques to develop the project charter? Expert judgment is one of the tools as called out in PMBOK. What do you mean by expert judgment? Consulting with other units within the organization or hiring external consultants from some of the big five companies or consulting organizations or other external consulting organizations, or reaching out to stakeholders, which could include your customers or sponsors, to get inputs or understand what they need in this project charter, or reaching out to professional and technical associations, reaching out to industry groups, subject matter experts, or sometimes reaching out to your internal project management office. You are utilizing this tool to develop a project charter. Now that you have these inputs and you are utilizing the tools, you will be able to develop a project charter. What would a project charter contain? It contains the purpose of the project and justification of the project, measurable objectives. What are you going to be achieving as part of this project? What is the success criteria? What are the high-level requirements? High-level project description, high-level risks, any milestones, what is the corresponding schedule associated with the milestone, summary budget. So if you look at the project charter template, it contains the project title, project sponsor, the name of the project manager, date it was prepared, the project customer, and then the project purpose or justification, the description of the project, high-level requirements, high-level risks, project objectives with regards to the scope, time, cost, or any other entity, and then the success criteria, the person that is approving, major milestones in the project and the corresponding due dates, estimated budget, key stakeholders and what their role is, project manager's authority, any staffing decision related authorities, budget management authorities, technical decision authorities, conflict resolution authorities. In fact, there is a question on the test. When would a project manager get formal authority on the project? Answer to that is after the approval of the project charter. So, just to give you a flavor for the style of teaching with regards to the processes, this is how we would go about talking about each of the processes, inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs, and also look at different examples and templates as applicable. Now let me switch gears and talk about our specialty or why you should train this training program from us. Number one, as I said earlier, we train about 1,000 students so far, and I have two clear goals for each one of my students. Number one, help them clear PMP exam. Once you clear PMP exam, it adds a lot of value to your resume. Studies indicated that project managers with PMP credential, and even non-project managers, even if you're a lead BA or a lead architect, with PMP credential actually earn about 30% more than individuals without the PMP credential. So therefore, we definitely want you to pass the exam, and we will provide you with all the materials and all the information and the techniques that you can use to successfully clear your exam. And the second goal is to enable you to apply these concepts in your real-time job. Therefore, I'm going to be bringing in a lot of real-time examples. Examples from my own work experience, example from various case studies, which will enable you to understand the application of the concepts pertinent to project management. It's not just understanding the concepts or learning the concepts, but you need to know how to apply these concepts. How do you stand out from the rest of the crowd? How do you make a difference? So these are my two clear goals. And we will be providing you with hundreds of sample questions which are embedded in our practice tests and full-length practice tests. Also, you will be given access to ebooks, templates, white papers, case studies. We have plenty of the materials for your benefit. We've got cheat sheets to help you learn some of the ITTO's formulae. Of course, we will derive each of the formulas in class. Also, there are ebooks. There's some extra read materials which will help you in understanding some of the project management concepts so that you can effectively apply. We will also be able to give you guidance in terms of filling up your application. There are some templates that we put together so you can access that. There are some PMI reference materials which you can also get from PMI.org, Code of Ethics, Salary Survey, Lexicon, Exam Content Outline, and Handbook. There's some sample project documents, the study guides that are given out to you for each of the knowledge area and each of the chapters. There are different templates. So we will ensure that you are able to clear your PMP exam and you're also able to successfully apply these PM concepts in the job with a good practical understanding. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to our training coordinators and they'll be able to assist you. I look forward to interacting with you very soon in our formal training programs in your city.